If I could have everyone's attention, we welcome here into the Media Center Ricky Stenhouse Jr., driver of the number 6 Blackwell Angus Ford, who finished third in tonight's Great Clips 300. Ricky, talk to us a little bit about the race itself and those last few laps.
The race itself was fun, man. This racetrack's a lot of fun. When it's old, it wears the tires out, and it's rough. And that's my kind of racetrack. I like to get up on the wheel and drive it hard. And it worked out for us tonight. Our Black Angus beef and Cargill Mustang really ran well. We struggled there in the pits and got behind and had to make some time up. But once we did, we were okay. We caught a good break and caught the right front tire. It shredded, but it didn't blow. So we caught that, one lap probably. If we'd have stayed out, probably would have blown the right front. And there at the end, it was just fun racing with Kyle and Kevin. And wish we could have had a little bit more for Carl, but it was a good weekend for Roush Fenway. And the last few laps there, we had the last run. I think we had a tire coming loose, so I kind of had to take it a little easy and make sure we finished. And it was a good points night for us.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions. We'll start back here with Rick.
Rick Minner from RacingDay.com. Ricky, Casey Kane was in here a while ago talking about how this track reminds him of like running a sprint car at Eldora. I wonder if it reminds you of running your sprint cars at tracks in this part of the country.
Definitely. I think that's one of the reasons why I like this place is you can move all over the racetrack. You're sliding no matter what. And there's other racetracks you can slide, but not everybody's sliding, so it doesn't pay off. So when everybody starts slipping and sliding, and you can turn right going through the corner most of the time, it reminds me of any sprint car racetrack that I've ran on. And I think that's where it helps us out here tonight.
Okay, our next question from Doug.
Ricky, Doug Turnbull from WSB Radio here in Atlanta. There's aggressive racing throughout the race by a lot of drivers, and yourself included. I remember one time in particular coming right in front of Keselowski, and a couple of other times where you were 3 wide. Did you feel pressured knowing that the points leader, Elliott Sadler, was struggling to try to gain as many spots as possible, or did you just tackle this race as you always do?
Well, he wasn't the points leader. No, we were. But, no, man, it was when you have a good race car, it's really fun to drive. And when you have an opening, it's tough not to take it as a race car driver. And, it seems like if you take that chance and take kind of control of it, you feel a little bit better instead of just riding. So I felt more in control, making some of those moves. A few probably I shouldn't have made, but they worked out.
Any other questions for Ricky? Any questions from the press box for Ricky? All right. Ricky, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Congratulations on the run tonight. Just now heard you say my name. That's all we've heard.
What else can we talk about?
We welcome here in the Media Center Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 Z-Line Designs Toyota, who finished second in tonight's Great Clips 300. Kyle, just talk a little bit about the race out there and your run tonight.
It was, I don't know, I guess it was a good race. Certainly the track didn't widen out like we always normally expect it to do here. There didn't seem to be a very good middle or top side. Everybody was kind of fighting for the bottom and trying to run that yellow line around the racetrack. So, hard to pass guys in that case when you try to get up behind them. You're slipping and sliding already and such on edge that when you get 3-4 car lengths behind them and lose more downforce, then you're sliding even worse. So, certainly was an exciting race there for a little while on restarts. You run back and forth and dive bomb guys, get on their outside, get on their inside, and once it kind of single files out, it's tough to go. And certainly you can see the cars that are freer to start with, kind of go to the front, and then the guys that have better long run cars kind of come up through. I felt like we were one of the long run cars that certainly got better with laps, but just didn't have enough on the front side. Certainly if we had enough on the front side and enough on the back side, we'd have been the best car here. But Z-Line Designs Camry just wasn't quite what it needed to be. but was close. Gave him a run for our money.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions. We'll start in the back with Doug.
Thanks. Doug Turnbull, WSB Radio. Kyle, toward the end of the race, at one point we heard you on the radio complain about the motor being weak, and I was wondering if that, I guess, had anything to do with the switch or the merger, I guess, of JGR and the TRD motors that's scheduled to have some implementation this year and then, of course, the full thing next year.
Okay. No, doesn't have anything to do with that. That's all Cup related. This is nationwide. So same engines we've run for the last 3 years. Just, unfortunately the Fords, when they got their new engine, they got a little bit more up on top of the game and have been able to produce more horsepower. So it's not that our guys aren't trying or aren't working hard. Just, seems like we're just a little bit behind.
Questions from the press box for Kyle?
No, none from the press box.
Okay, we'll take another question from the back on Rick.
I just follow up, Kyle, about your comment about the racetrack not widening out. Is that from racing at nighttime or some other reason you think?
What was the second part? A race of nighttime or what?
I mean, you're talking about the racetrack not widening out like it usually does. Is that a factor of like being cooler at night, or what do you think the reason for that is?
I don't know. I've tried it in practice today in both the Nationwide Series and the Cup car, and both times I went to the top, I was slower. So I hate to say it, but I think we're predicting the future for tomorrow, and it's going to be a crash fest to the bottom. So it's just too far around, I guess, and there's not that much grip up there anymore that you can get that sort of advantage. All the cars are equal and run pretty well and fast around the bottom. That there's just not a good enough top side. The truck was the same way. I couldn't get the truck to work around the top throughout the race either. So, kind of disappointing, but it is what it is.
Any other questions for Kyle? Kyle, thank you for your time.
Thanks.